From the Newhouse Studios at Syracuse University, welcome to the ACC on ESPN Halftime Report. Alongside Jake Marsh, I'm Drew Carter. Here at halftime between Syracuse and Cornell, game number 2 of our doubleheader today. Earlier, the SU women opening up the season with a comfortable win over Morgan State, 95-58, Jake. An impressive final score, but a slow start for the Orange.
Yeah, Drew, plain and simple, Syracuse just couldn't hit their shots, both in the paint and from deep range.
But SU picked it up as this game went on, thanks to the fresh new faces. 3 5-star recruits on the roster, Jake, one of them, Digna Stroutmane.
Stroutmane from Latvia started off slow, but how can you blame her? Her first collegiate game in the Carrier Dome atmosphere, that's a lot to handle.
You did see Gabrielle Cooper there missing a three-pointer, expected to be the leader of this team, Jake. She was invisible.
The lone returning starter for Coach Q's team. As a sophomore, that's a lot to handle for Gabby Cooper.
One player who was great, though, was Isis Young, Jake. In her first game in a Syracuse uniform, she was fantastic.
Isis Young transferred from the University of Florida and had to sit out the entirety of last season due to transfer rules, but that's quote-unquote super fan of a year really helped her in her that first game because she saw the court, and it helped her a lot.
And the fresh faces were really impressive, Jake. They're going to have to be this season if Syracuse wants to continue the success it's had in the last few years, losing a ton of leaders from last year's roster.
You lose Alexis Peterson, Brittany Sykes, the quote-unquote America's best backcourt. That was the running joke here on the Syracuse University campus. But you have the new faces with Mukagahia and Stroutmane. They can really step up and help. And then you look over to the men's team. Tyler Lydon, drafted in the first round by Denver. Andrew White and John Gillen also going. That's a lot to handle. So who has to step up? Give me Tyus Battle, Franklin Howard, also guards. They need to play a big role for Jim Boeheim's team.
Welcome back inside the Newhouse Studio on the campus of Syracuse University. I'm Noah Eagle, and here with me on the ACC ESPN Halftime Report, Sean McDonough, SU alum. Thank you for taking a break from the action, hustling over here from the Dome.
Yeah, I have good speed.
Yeah,
I was a little faster when I was here on the campus 100 years ago. I had to dodge the dinosaurs.
You have a 40 time from back then?
I think I was timed with a calendar on the way from the Dome to here.
Fair enough.
Excited to be with you. Noah, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us again. And earlier tonight, you presented the 2017 Marty Glickman Award to Mike Tirico, another SU alum, your predecessor, Monday Night Football. What was that like for you to present that? You did a great job, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. I think I appreciate that very much. The fun part for me is that because it's Marv Albert, Bob Costas, Beth Mowens, me, and now Mike, the 5 Marty Glickman winners, I was happy that it was Mike because I am still the tallest winner of the Marty Glickman Award.
It's a Varello fan club here inside the Carrier Dome as the two brothers will face off at the Face-Off X for this one. From the Newhouse Studio at Syracuse University, welcome back to the ACC on ESPN pregame show. Alongside Tyler Rocky, I'm Jake Marsh. Now we'd like to welcome in Evan Stockton and former All-American Ryan Powell will be calling this afternoon's action. Guys, great to see you inside the Carrier Dome, a place where the midshipmen don't have a lot of experience. What kind of impact could the Dome have today?
Yeah, Jake, that's absolutely right. The Mids have not played here in the Carrier Dome since the 1980s, although they did play in that 2004 title game that we just talked about. But you know, Ryan, I don't think they're going to be intimidated. This is a team that's red hot. They've won 8 of 10. They're disciplined. They're smart. They're ready to go today.
Yeah, definitely not intimidated. I think it's going to be a good lacrosse game. Syracuse is playing really good lacrosse right now, as is Navy. You know, they're going to have their hands full. Syracuse is really hot right now. They're playing good on both ends of the ball, or both ends of the field. And, you know, Navy's struggling a little bit on the offensive end to produce goals.
Now, Ryan, this Syracuse team expects to start 2 freshmen in the midfield today. How can an experienced bunch like Navy take advantage of that inexperience on the SU side?
Well, the Navy defense is very good, but, you know, these freshmen, these young freshmen that you're talking about, they're battle-tested right now. It's getting late in the season. They've already played against the biggest and toughest competition in the country, so today's no different for them. They've seen all of the defensive slides that people have thrown at them over the course of the season, and they'll be prepared and ready to go.
Tonight, Syracuse hosts Virginia Tech as the Orange looks to remain unbeaten in the Carrier Dome this season. Meanwhile, the Hokies looking for a 4th ACC win. From inside the Newhouse Studio, welcome to the ACC on ESPN pregame show alongside Dominique Patrick. I'm Drew Carter. Later on, we'll take a look around the conference and at the Orange's struggling bench. But Dominique, first, let's start with how dominant this SU team has been at home. What's the key to Syracuse's home court success so far?
So honestly, I mean, why wouldn't you be confident at home? You're in front of your home crowd, you're on your home court, you're shooting your own rims. It's something that you're really used to.
Syracuse seniors honored today before their final home game in the Carrier Dome. Welcome back inside the Newhouse studio at Syracuse University for the ACC on ESPN pregame show. I'm your host, Matt Liberman. Joining me now is Maura Sheridan, who is on the call coming up at the top of the hour. And Maura, I have to ask you, Riley Donahue plays her final game in the Dome today. What has she meant to the Syracuse team for the past 4 years?
They are going to miss her so much. She's been a starter since she was a freshman. She has 144 career goals. She has just been a leader on and off the field, captain this year. They are going to miss her so much for what she brings to this team in terms of leadership. And then she's one of the best attack that Syracuse has had in the past couple of years.
Boston College's leading scorers, like you mentioned, are Milan, Bolden, Morris, and Georgia Pinot, but Florida State held them to just 10 points in the game. How can they get back into the offense against the Orange?
Yeah, for one, get the ball inside to Pinot. She's been a streaky scorer so far, but if you can get her in that post, you know, she has a big, strong frame. She can get her spots in the post. So if she can just back down her defenders into that basket, get those hook shots up, get that ball right on the bank, she'll do an excellent job there. Getting her involved will be the #1 thing for Boston College, because getting those interior shots will help them stay in this basketball game.
Earlier in the season against Syracuse, Pinot had 17 points and 9 rebounds. How tough will it be to kind of duplicate that success?
Beth, you tell a story about when you were younger in the Carrier Dome, standing, sitting in the cheap seats at the Dome and calling the game to yourself. Got to ask you, going to be doing that tonight in the Dome?
It will be interesting if we're all sitting together. All the Glickmanites will probably all have our own little running commentary. I often get caught by family members talking to myself, basically just describing the action, whether we're shopping or whether we're at dinner or whether we're actually at a game. So the good thing is all you need now is one of these, and you can record yourself. When I was up in the cheap seats, we had those big Morances you had to kind of strap over your shoulder and actually carry a little microphone with you. I'm glad the technology has made it a lot easier to practice.
And this season has been all about Tiana Mangakahia and her ability to make her teammates better. For more on Syracuse's transition offense, here's Dominique Patrick.
Thanks, Zach. And the way she does it, she knows how to get down the floor quickly. And she's one of the best in the nation to do it. And what she does is she finds her open teammates. She's averaging a little under 10 assists a game. As you can see, she finds Isis Young right there. And what she's so good at doing is before she even crosses half court, she knows where she's going. Look, her eyes are up at all times. She sees the open lane. She finds Isis Young. She knows where she's going with the basketball. And she finds her right here in the corner. And then we're going to take another look at this, and we're going to see how the defense collapses here in the lane. So they over-collapse, and Tiana Mangakahia sees a lane. She sees her players. She sees them open over here, and this is how she gets the bench involved with her court vision. So that just sums up how Syracuse transition defense happens and how Tiana Mangakahia gets it going for them. Back to you, Zach.